Welcome to the Big Motor Small Blade podcast. I'm Seth Dolby, joined by Buddy Pulley. We're missing the other two today, or other one and a half, or however you want to put it. Charles may join us at some point, but Anthony, of course, covered the race in Michigan and is still driving home. Buddy,
that's me.
How art thou?
I'm okay. This was certainly a race of all time.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is one of those races that I'll forget in T-minus 10 minutes. So
fair enough. But it's certainly not going to be a week that we forget in T-minus 2 minutes.
Yeah. No.
Obviously, if you've been living under a rock, Austin Dillon committed grand larceny at the end of the race in Richmond.
Yeah.
And NASCAR brought the hammer down to an extent. Not everything they could have done, but certainly I would say enough in this case.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yes. They have stripped his playoff eligibility from that win. He could still win one of the last remaining two races and make the playoffs from it, but this one will not count for it. And I think they got a 25-point penalty.
Yeah.
Driver and owner points.
Yep.
I think that was it, wasn't it? Did they get
Spotter
fined?
was suspended for 3 weeks.
What do we think about the spotter getting suspended real quick? I think that's kind of goofy to me, to be completely honest.
Well, I mean, he told him to wreck him.
Yeah, but that's
Don't
not
tell
why
him to
he
wreck
did
him.
it.
I know, but spotters still shouldn't be saying it. I don't know.
Sure, but we're gonna need. I feel like we're gonna need some consistency because this is someone's gonna say, "Hey, wreck that motherfucker," at some point.
I mean, yeah.
What we're gonna suspend them 3 races too? Is it only if the driver follows through? Are we trying to take blame away from Austin Dillon, like he wasn't gonna do it anyway?
To be completely honest, I didn't think more than 0.5 seconds about the spotter getting suspended until right now. So I was not prepared for this argument, if I'm being completely honest with you.
When's that ever stopped us?
Yeah. I do have a hypothetical.
Okay.
And this is more of if they would not have done anything to Austin Dillon, which, judging by a lot of people's thoughts on the whole situation, and we even said it last week, we didn't think anything was going to happen other than a fine.
Yeah.
Or a points penalty.
Nothing important.
Nothing of significance was going to happen. Yeah. And even though Richard Childress Racing 30 minutes before apparently didn't think they were losing their playoff eligibility with their hype video that they posted. But no, I wrote this down earlier this week. Okay, so if that would have stood, if his playoff eligibility, if nothing would have happened to him and he would have been able to go on into the playoffs. NASCAR has 100% rule. You have to race to 100% of your, ability. Okay. So now that if that would have stood and if that would have been okay, if we would have deemed that okay to do, then does a driver not get penalized for not doing that because he's not driving to 100% of his ability? Do you go into Phoenix and or just anywhere, do you have to now penalize drivers for not following through with the 100% rule? I mean, that is the can of worms that could have been opened up that I didn't hear anybody make an argument for. But if you don't drive 5 car lengths too deep into the corner to hit the guy and then right hook the guy that tries to pass you, that you're not driving, you're not following the rule book. This
is kind of funny. So you said you did not listen to the teardowns discussion on this.
No, I didn't listen to it.
Basically Jeff Gluck's argument.
I did not. After the fucking shit show of a show that was the post Richmond teardown for them, I didn't even worry about listening. I don't think I listened to anything post penalty. I saw the penalty, was thoroughly shocked that they did something, pleasantly surprised, and then now we're here. But yeah, that's funny that they mentioned that too, because
Jeff basically said if they hadn't banned, he started comparing it. He said if they hadn't banned the Hell Melon, then if you were in that position and you didn't do it, then you didn't do everything you could have to do it. So just funny that you basically said the exact same thing there. You're not wrong. I mean, essentially, and it's not like you said, it's not like it wouldn't have been a.
And that 100% rule hasn't been enforced like too much. Like that hasn't been like, there's been instances where people have gotten fined or whatever because they felt like they were sandbagging to help their teammate in playoffs or, whatever. Things like that.
Or when they laid the ban hammer down on Cole Custer that one time.
That too.
Now the argument, here's the thing.
Hold on.
Okay, hang on. Or go ahead.
But even that, it now falls upon the way maybe your team looks at you or your fans look at you or whatever. I mean, most people have, logic and, morals, but I mean, there's some people who might look at it like, well, why didn't you do what Austin Dillon did? We knew it was okay. Like, this is win at all costs. You have to do whatever to advance, to win the race, win the championship. It puts it puts a driver's willingness to win in question if they don't do this.
Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong, which is partly, and basically, I think we even said walking out of the track at Richmond, it was kind of like, this can't stand because this is going to happen again.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, and luckily it hasn't stood. Now, they seem to think, and obviously they're going to show confidence, but they seem to think they have an argument going into the appeals process. And part of me, maybe it's the cynical part of me, thinks that they're kind of right. Because
what's the argument?
The argument is if it's for the right hook, they haven't changed the results of anything there, then they've just gotten a suspension and it hadn't affected anybody's playoff eligibility. You got that one. You could argue that there's been no standard for the past 10 years. You could certainly make that argument. I don't agree with that argument. And like I said last week, the best time to enforce driving standards was 10 years ago, and the second best time is right now. But it's certainly an argument they could make. It could be a rigged election with a Chevy exec up there or something.
Like the William Byron, Texas deal. Yeah.
Yep. Certainly possible. Hopefully we get a Ford or Toyota executive in there. That's really what I'm hoping for. But I mean, I don't think they're going to win the appeal.
I don't think they're going to win just for the simple fact that NASCAR they have it in the rule book that they are at liberty to do something of this nature. Like, they literally, I think it says in the rule book, they reserve the right to strip your playoff eligibility. Like, literally those words are written. It's not we reserve the right to take action that we find, it's sufficient. No, this is literally playoff eligibility revocation is in the rule book. So
I agree with you. I think it's a low likelihood of them getting it. I think, just like I said, there's a cynical part of me that thinks it's definitely possible. We've seen stupider shit. Now, the funny thing is that the appeals board can make it more severe, and that would be really funny, is if somehow they made it more severe.
It turns out Austin Dillon gets suspended for Daytona.
After all this, they're just like, oh, and now we only have one shot. Now, the funny thing is, the last time the three-team ran
away his best shot.
Well, you say that. Hang on. The last time the 3-car ran good at Richmond, they ended up that same year they ran well at Darlington. Now, Darlington was before Richmond that year, but that did happen.
Yeah.
It's weird. The 3-team is an anomaly. They just do nothing for 2.5 years or 3 years, and then suddenly they run good at Richmond and Darlington. It makes no sense. So I wouldn't be shocked if they did run good at Darlington. I would be surprised if they won, but anything can happen.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think they did the right thing.
Yes.
I think there's in no world should. The more and more I thought about that, and every time I saw it, the more it sunk in that, like, this is the most egregious thing that I have ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. Like this took the cake. This was the worst thing I've witnessed. And it's good to know that, they actually, they actually recognize that as well.
Yep. This fan over here appreciates it. Something had to be done. It was apparent that something had to be done, and luckily NASCAR agreed. Now, they may have been waiting as long as possible to get kind of the the crowd's reaction to it first. I'm guessing why they can't just make this call in the moment is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
I mean, within 3 minutes, we looked at it and we're like, okay, this is bullshit. It can't stand.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's no reason we can't make this call in the moment just because NASCAR doesn't want to. And I understand you don't want to be Formula One, but we got to be better than we have been in the past, say, at least 5 years for sure. We can be better. We should aim to be better. And it would start by just calling it out at the racetrack in the moment, I think. Yeah. So this is a good step.
This is, yeah. Now there is at least a standard that you can't do that.
So at least if we see this again, it should get called in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Bowman Gray Stadium is officially getting the Busch Light Clash.
Yep.
I'll be honest. You would have more fans in LA show up to the track just because literally the seating capacity at Bowman Gray. I mean,
clearly that's not the goal here.
That's not the goal. The goal is to get a cup race at Bowman Gray Stadium. I get it. There's a lot of people that are going to be happy about this. I'm relatively indifferent about it. I think Bowman Gray Stadium I think it's an absolute, it's a shithole. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it's not a racetrack. It's just an absolute circus. If you look at any weekly racing that gets put on there, it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. It is everything you hate about it. Is the last lap of Richmond every damn week, and there's no consequences for it. There's no NASCAR to step in. So will be cool to get I don't know, dude. I don't get it. It's not any different than the Clash or than the LA Clash. It's not a new racetrack. It's the same racetrack, basically. It's a little different, not exactly shaped the same, but it's still a quarter-mile car with the next gen. Quarter-mile racetrack with the next gen car. The Clashes in LA were not great. They weren't terrible, but they dissolved into fucking just, I'm going to knock the shit out of you, so you knock the shit out of the guy in front of you. And that's what all this is going to be. That's all this will not be a good race. I can only imagine Austin Dillon is the type of driver who will thrive in this. I mean, like I said, it's one of those deals. It's bigger than just the actual race, but I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. I can appreciate it from the fact that the absolute legends of the NASCAR Cup Series have won at this racetrack in the Cup Series. You know, your Kales, your Bobbies, Richard. So I can understand from a historical standpoint wanting to do this, even if it's just this one time or whatever. If the whole Sao Paulo thing ends up coming to fruition or whatever, even if it's just one time, just to do it for fun, I'm cool with it. And I'm gonna try and go as long as it's reasonably priced. And I don't even know what reasonably priced means at this point, but I've put a deposit down, so they've already got $25 from me. And I'm not expecting much.
Yeah.
If it's terrible, oh well. It's not a points race. I don't know. I don't have strong feelings either way about this, to be honest. I mean, like, if I get the chance to go, it'll be cool. Like, it'll be kind of like getting to go to North Wilkesboro for the first time. Like, okay, this is historic. Hopefully, the whole Rockingham thing on Easter weekend happens this year. I'll get to do that. I've never gone to a race at Rockingham. You have, obviously, but I haven't. And that's another historical racetrack for the Cup Series. So in those aspects, it's cool. But as a race, I'm not terribly excited about it. Now, it'll be cool to go to a race. Well, okay, Martinsville's basically about the same distance from my place, but I grew up like 20 minutes away from Bowman Gray. I've only been one time because it's really not the kind of racing I enjoy, but I've been. It's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Bowman Gray, so maybe my opinion means whatever, I guess. But I mean, you're right in the historical part of it. I mean, it's obviously it's good because NASCAR went chasing this thing out in Los Angeles and then just in the other markets, chasing the road courses and all this thing. It seems to be they're reining things back in and, more feeding their core crowd, which is good. It's just I did like the dynamic of our two non-points races. We had, chasing a new market and then paying homage to, the sport. And now we have two of basically these Field of Dreams type races, which is fine. It's whatever. I'm indifferent about it. And yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't care. I'll get, like you said, I'll go. It'll be cool. I'm sure, and it'll be. I'll probably get proven completely wrong. So mark this down for sure. I guess
no. I'll go and put it on the record. The race is gonna be fucking terrible.
Yeah, it'll be cool to. It'll be cool to say I went to the Daytona Clash, the LA Clash, and the Bowman Gray Clash. But
that will be a cool thing because we've also been to 3 All-Star race locations. So
that's true. Yeah, and let's just all stay grounded and understand that this will not be much different than LA as far as the racing goes. Let's just keep that in mind. And if I hear people February 3rd of next year talking about how great the race was at Bowman Gray after they just pile drove each other for 150 laps, I'm gonna come over on here pissed off as hell.
Now, the one good thing is for the teams, like the whole trek out to LA was kind of excessive for what it was. So that'll be good for them. They just get to go 45 minutes up the road or an hour, depending on where they're at. And so that'll be a lot easier for those guys, which is good. I mean, they travel enough, to be honest. Adding another Los Angeles race before you start the season was a little bit crazy.
Yeah. I do want to say,
I can't wait for. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Corey Lajoie has won at Bowman Gray Stadium. One, that should tell you a little something about Bowman Gray Stadium. And two, you think he's punching the air right now when he's like, "Oh, they're going Bowman Gray Stadium for the Clash. I've won there. Wait, I don't have a fucking cup ride."
I wonder if someone will pick him up just for that race. Be like, you know what? In no other scenario.
They don't give a shit about a Canon race from 13 years ago or whatever.
I'm thinking like a Rick Ware Racing or something. Be like, hey, we got a second car. Fuck it. Corey Lajoie, you won here once. Go ahead. Try it out.
I'd put me in the Rick Ware car.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be much worse.
I can plow through a couple people and end up flipping the damn thing just as good as Corey Lajoie can.
Yeah, probably can.
All right, let's talk about Michigan. Well, I guess no, you haven't. We have to talk about leading into Michigan. What's up with your
leading
boy?
into Michigan? I don't even know who was he talking to. Like, I don't know. Anyway,
I have no clue. I just know we're talking about the Max Verstappen Kyle Larson debate.
Yes.
I thought this was just a Twitter thing. I didn't know this was like an actual thing.
No, it was a quote from, I guess he was getting interviewed or something. I don't know. Maybe it was at a high limit race or something. I don't really know. But anyway, the internet got set ablaze when Kyle Larson said he thought he was better than Max Verstappen.
Okay, I did see that quote. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course he thinks he does. It would be irresponsible of him not to think he's better than everybody.
Yeah.
That's called being a competitor.
Corey Lajoie wakes up every day thinking he's the best race car driver in the world.
He probably does.
And if he does, then Larson better.
Now, I did kind of laugh and think, yeah, he's going to do something stupid this week now that he said that. Because, of course he did. Of course he would. But anyway, the debate is, I'll be honest, the debate's stupid. So here's the thing. Kyle can jump into pretty much anything and be competitive right away that we've seen. Obviously, yet to be seen in a Formula One car. It's not going to happen. He's 32 already. He's not going to get in an F1 car ever. So there's that. Max is obviously one of the fastest drivers on the planet. I don't think that's debatable. But when we compare these raw, like visual stats, like, oh, Kyle's not dominant enough in the Cup Series or whatever, it's really asinine to me. I see this all the time, and I just think it's asinine because it's like, really, do you lack a fundamental understanding of what Formula One is compared to NASCAR? Not in a good or bad way to either one, but it's totally different. If F1 was a spec series and Max was dominating like he would, it would be no question. It would be absolutely zero question. Max is definitely the better driver, I think. If it was a spec-like series and he dominated like he does, sure. Now, here's the other thing. Kyle wrecks a lot. You know what happens anytime Max Verstappen has to race somebody? There's contact.
Yeah.
And they crash. It's pretty much a given. I don't like getting onto him for it because, like, A, he doesn't do it very often, so he's probably out of practice. But B, it's just kind of the nature of guys racing as hard as possible. That's kind of how it is. So, so between those two things, I think, well, the internet clearly doesn't like Kyle Larson, which is fine. I get it. He wins a lot. I understand that. That's just kind of the way it is. Everyone hated Jeff Gordon. Everyone hated Jimmy Johnson. Apparently nobody hated Dale Earnhardt, which tells you he wasn't very good. But I'm kidding. I would like to preface that with I'm kidding. Everyone hated Dale Earnhardt in the 90s.
Well,
or the 80s.
This argument's dumb for many reasons. I think comparing racing drivers from different disciplines that have never driven the cars that they are being compared to is a little asinine. But if we're doing this, then if you can look me in the eye and tell me Max Verstappen is a better race car driver than better overall race car driver than Kyle Larson, if you can look me in the eye and say that, I'd hate to see what you say to yourself 5 inches from the mirror every morning because you're fucking out of your mind, bro. Like, Kyle Larson, 3-time. Okay, we'll start here. Cup Series champion, 25 plus Cup Series victories.
27.
25 plus. That means more than 25, which is 27.
I'm just letting you know.
Anyway, he's won the Southern 500. He's won the Coca-Cola 600. He's now won the Brickyard 400. He's competed in he's the Indianapolis 500 Rookie of the Year. He was very fast in his rookie year at Indy. He's a 3-time Knoxville Nationals winner. He's a Rolex 24 winner. Max Verstappen is a 3-time F1 2-time, 3-time, 3-time F1 champion.
And one of those has an asterisk on it.
3-time F1 champion. With a car that was if you call it anything less than OP, you're out of your mind. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Jimmy Johnson in his prime didn't have that good of a car. Like, he's raced one type of car. He's raced an open wheel car throughout his entire ladder. One type of car on one type of track. His entire career. Kyle Larson has raced God knows how many different type of cars. On every different type of racetrack pretty much imaginable. The dumb argument. It's a dumb argument to make to begin with. And it's a dumb argument because it's pretty fucking clear that Kyle Larson is the better driver. And also,
he is at the very least a more well-rounded driver.
Yes. Which in my opinion, that makes him better. Because if we're judging racing drivers, if Max is like OP, he's light years better than Kyle Larson in one discipline, and then we got 4 other different type of race tracks, and Kyle Larson just kicks his dick in. Who's the better fucking driver? Like, and then you brought up the argument that Larson does Kyle Larson things, and which are really dumb. Max Verstappen, you said, does dumb things as well in the front. So there you go. They're both very good at what they do. Neither one of them are the greatest race car driver in the world, because who doesn't do dumb things when he's up at the front is Shane Van Gisbergen, and he is the greatest race car driver in the world. So maybe the fucking question should be, who's better, Shane Van Gisbergen or Kyle Larson and Max Verstappen morphed into a fucking like cyborg fucking whatever?
Okay, if you took the best parts of Kyle Larson and Max Verstappen and made them one person, it would be
Shane Van Gisbergen.
Well, once Shane can get good at oval racing, I think you have an argument there. Honestly, like once Shane is like,
well, I'm confident that he will get good.
I mean,
good at oval racing.
I don't think you're wrong. We just need to see it first for me to go ahead and say that. But I mean, you look at, that's the funny thing is, to me, it's like you look at Kyle Larson's background and his racing resume, and I mean, you put Shane's right next to it. It looks
not that far off.
It looks almost the same.
It's not that far off.
Actually, Shane's probably looks better because
the only reason
more high-profile races and supercars that he's won.
And the only reason, like, he hasn't won the big races over here that Kyle's won. Yeah, competed in a lot of them. Yeah. He's done the Rolex before. He's run sprint car races before, but he hasn't done the Knoxville Nationals. He hasn't been in a car to win overall at the Rolex 24. Like, so I don't know. This is obviously turned into a Shane Van Gisbergen.
He's really not that much older than Kyle either.
No, he's not.
I always feel like he is, but he's really not.
Well, it's that comes down to Shane's a little bit. I feel like Shane has his wits about him a little bit more often than Kyle does.
He's definitely smarter. Like that's not hard. He's smarter than both Max and Kyle. I mean, you see the way if you take the way all 3 of them run at the front when they're trying to make a move or defend or whatever, Shane's clearly got a leg up on both of them. I think. I don't think it's even close.
No, it's not close.
No. At least on a road course, Kyle defending on an oval, he's pretty sound at that. He's got that down pat. But
to close this out, what pisses me off more than anything about all this is we see this debate all the fucking time about F1 drivers versus IndyCar drivers versus NASCAR drivers. A NASCAR or IndyCar driver can't go and get a fucking test in an F1 car because, they hate us.
It's literally against the rules.
Oh, really?
If you don't have a super license, yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother can of fucking stupid worms.
And it makes sense. Hang on, really quick. The super license system does make sense in the fact that otherwise you'd have just so many rich assholes buying their way in that can't drive a lick. So that is the only place that I get it.
Is heavily favored towards you have to race our stuff because we're elite and we're better.
Well, yes. I don't disagree with you on that, but the overall essence of it, I understand.
That's not the debate I'm trying to make. We would welcome with open arms if an F1 driver wanted to come over here and try.
We have.
NASCAR. Yeah, we
several
have.
times.
Exactly. And you know how many of them showed up? Not fucking single one. Other than Juan Pablo Montoya.
And Jensen Button. And Kimmy.
I meant more in their prime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kimi did respectable. He did, the 2 starts. But anyway, rarely we don't see the elite of elite F1 drivers in their prime come over. Like, I'm talking the Lewis Hamiltons, the Max Verstappens, the ones that I'm sorry, I might piss somebody off by saying it. No one said Kimi Räikkönen was the greatest race car driver in the world. He won an F1 world title, right?
He did.
So did Jensen Button. But not to the level of domination that, a Hamilton or Verstappen did. So they're not so.
Yeah, but F1's a car business.
We're getting into the whole thing.
Well, I understand, but the whole point is essentially comparing drivers or whatever. And it's like, there are people that will die on the hill that Fernando Alonso is a better driver than Lewis Hamilton. The stats don't back it up, the raw stats. But that's not really the whole picture. And it's a similar thing to taking raw data about Kyle Larson and raw data about Max Verstappen. It's not really comparable.
Yeah.
So, and even then, it's like you said about the elitism in F1, it's definitely a thing. I would maybe say there's 5 drivers in F1 that I would consider top of the world drivers, and not the top, but in the category.
Yeah.
The other 15 are pretty good, obviously way better than me and way better than a lot of people in the US, but not necessarily better than the top 5 in IndyCar, not necessarily better than the top 10 in NASCAR per se. So and you could go all the way down the line, IMSA, dirt racing, whatever. Racing is such a segmented sport that it's such a stupid debate. And to be fair, this Max Verstappen, they asked him about this exact quote, and he basically said the exact same thing. So at least we know someone, and obviously Max watches NASCAR. He's kind of low-key brother-in-law with Daniel Suarez, so we know he watches, and the drivers tend to not care as much as the fan bases do.
No, they absolutely don't.
And it's obviously F1, the fan base typically is a bit more of our guys are better, and then the NASCAR fan base in this argument is typically little brother kind of syndrome-ish about it. So,
and the amount of people, you brought this up, that just don't understand, like a lot of F1 fans that were kind of leaning into this. And, Kyle Larson goes and wins the Knoxville Nationals, goes and wins, all these 5 dirt races in a row.
6.
Okay. My fault, G. I didn't recognize your game. But of course they had the wise comment to make of, oh, he's going and beating up on, these Cedar Series guys, not understanding that dirt racing is like their own professional level of auto racing in the world. Said
especially
it before,
the world of outlaws. Like, it's not like he's sitting there.
Yeah.
He's not just going to a weekly race at Port Royal or whatever. Nothing against those guys, but
anytime someone asks me about different forms of racing, someone who's uninitiated into racing in general, I always tell them, comparing NASCAR and Formula One, or X racing series versus Y racing series, it is like comparing someone who plays basketball to someone who plays baseball. It's more of that than an actual
it's hilarious
comparison.
I love that you brought that up, because baseball fans are just as toxic about this as F1 fans.
Oh God.
Dude, F1 or baseball fans will sit there and debate you and be like, our guys can play any sport. And then you say, what about hockey? And they go, that doesn't count.
Yeah. Fuck it. Kyle Larson is the greatest hockey player in the world. Put him up there with the rest of them. But
way too short for that.
Put Ovechkin in a cup car. He ain't gonna do what Kyle Larson does.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
anyway, yeah. And then so to cap this all off, Kyle Larson went out and proved that he is just as good and bad as Max Verstappen by busting his ass in turn 4 at Michigan.
Yeah,
today.
He did do that.
Yes.
I'm still annoyed that Cody Ware thought he needed to be in that spot. I'm sorry. Like, obviously, Kyle should have just backed off and lived to fight another day. But holy fuck, why is Cody Ware A in the top 10? That's annoying. Stop that. And B, really, dude, you're gonna pack it in the corner and then back up in the center? Come on. Okay, I'm done with that. Also, yeah, Kyle, back up, live to fight another day. You just lost the regular season title on this. You really did. You're going to wreck next week at Daytona. You are going to wreck next week at Daytona. If by some miracle you survive Daytona and the other 3 get it, that would be a miracle. I mean, let's be real here. And I guess he could go and win Darlington. I feel like he's done that for the only time in his career. I'm sorry. Like, I have that feeling about it. Anyway, I don't know. He just lost the regular season title in my eyes.
I mean, this was a very Kyle Larson moment. I think my exact quote, and it fits into what we just talked about. Kyle Larson is the worst, greatest race car driver in the world. It was just, I don't know, man. It's just like Kyle has he has 3 or 4 years where he just busts his ass, and this is it. This is one of them.
The funny thing to me though is how, and I get it. People want to see the top dog eat shit. I get it. But it's also like Kyle's like prototypical the guy that Cup fans act like they want to see. And then they watch him drive the way he does and they hate it for some reason. I've never fully understood it. Like I said, all they want is guys who go 10/10 all the time. And it's amazing when it's amazing. And sometimes it looks pretty stupid. That's just kind of how it is. And I don't really get the disconnect here. I don't know. Maybe just because he busts his ass more often than they think he should.
I mean, he definitely.
He definitely does.
I was about to say, if we're being completely honest, I think he busts his ass way more than I think he should.
Yes. The amount of times he should have finished in bare minimum the top 5 in the past 2 seasons and wrecked. Oh, I'd love to count it up. It's a lot.
What? It's a product of the fucking system. Like, it doesn't. I mean, obviously,
it does matter.
regular season title, yes. Does Kyle Larson really think he can't make it to the Final Four?
No, but maybe he doesn't care. Part of me thought it would have been like, if I'm a driver and I missed out on the race, just a race in general, but B, the race that pays the most points in the entire season and still win the regular season title, I would have had that as a goal from that point forward. And I don't know what Kyle thinks about it.
But I mean, we saw this with Ross Chastain. At what point does having him tone it back, have him running mid-pack? I'm not saying Kyle Larson's going to do that, but I mean, if you try to put Kyle Larson in a box, what's that going to look like?
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's certified Kyle Larson moment,
trademark.
And then to another certified insert driver name here moment. Corey Lajoie will do just about anything to stay relevant.
Except run well.
Including flipping down the backstretch at fucking Michigan. I really just want to frame a picture of him sailing through the air. Frame it like a painting and call it attention whore. Like, obviously we're taking the piss here. But like, it's so, how does this happen off the top with this guy? Like,
it's so comical the way it happened too.
Suarez has as many wins in his career as Corey Lajoie has flips this year.
That is certainly a point.
If I had a nickel for every time Corey Lajoie has flipped this year, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't very much, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I just love, so like, obviously the first one was just a plate race incident, nothing he could do about it. But this one is just so comical because he goes up to, I guess, side draft the 10, fucks it up so badly that he wrecks by himself. They're not by himself, but wrecks himself off the 10 down the backstretch and just takes flight. Like, all right, move over, Orville or Wilbur Wright. There's a new sheriff in town. His name is Corey Lajoie.
I guess the air went through one ear hole and out the other, and lifted him up by that. Because good Lord, I mean,
yeah, I don't.
Only he can try to be a race car driver, screw it up, and end up it. Flipping.
Become a pilot. That's what he did.
Like,
yeah.
Take on a whole new discipline.
I wasn't watching that at that exact moment. I checked the group chat. Y'all said something about him flipping, and I was like, that's funny. Oh, they're serious. Oh my God. How did he manage this?
They had just gone to commercial. I looked down at my phone and I see something out of the corner of my eye and I go, oh fuck, he's flipping. He had not stopped flipping. He had not gotten back on his wheel. And I had already texted a friend and said, Corey LaJoie will do anything to stay relevant.
I really wish Dale Jr. had been in the booth for that, because he'd just gone, oh, fuck, we got Corey LaJoie flipping down the backstretch.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't really have much to analyze about this other than the fact that this is, like we just said, a certified Corey LaJoie moment.
Like I said, it all comes down to the way it happened to me. Just like the whole aggressive side draft where you hit the guy so hard it bounces you to the left and you spin out and flip.
Yeah. I mean, he even said in his interview, he's like, it's just how the year's gone. It makes perfect sense. I ended up flipping the damn thing.
Corey, it's kind of like your career is gone, my guy.
Yeah. Second flip of the weekend, by the way.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Thank God they had to go flipping down the backstretch to make sure Sheldon didn't have a chance to win the race.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
After Noah Gragson couldn't hold the car down in turn 1, which caused the big gap between the first and second place cars.
I'll be honest, I saw the last lap of the Xfinity race. I didn't really see much else about the Xfinity race.
I'm upset. Okay, give me a break. I'm upset.
Oh yeah, Sheldon, little Sheldon Creed boners hurt. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. Corey LaJoie flips at Michigan. Right.
Is that the title of the video?
Let's see how the rest of this deal goes, and we might put in consideration.
People seem to like it when we talked about Corey LaJoie last time. So.
That's true. Now, to get Seth riled up as possible, the last caution.
Yes.
Go ahead, take it.
That's not a fucking caution.
Yeah, you're probably right.
In no instance. Earlier in this race, it wasn't a caution. Austin Cindric did the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
The same thing. Not a caution.
It took Ross spinning in front of the field for the second overtime yellow to happen.
Yeah.
Not Alex Bowman doing the same thing on the straightaway.
I thought they were going to call caution then, and then the wreck continued essentially. Yeah. But anyway, I don't really care about that.
All right, I'm gonna put this out there. I think I put it in the group chat. I'm gonna put it out there. So, Austin Cindric hits the wall, and then they go through a green flag cycle, and immediately 3 guys blow a tire. One of which AJ Allmendinger said he ran over something. Joey and Todd, that probably air pressure related. Allmendinger probably air pressure related too. But maybe, just to play devil's advocate, maybe NASCAR was like, well, maybe we should have thrown a caution for Cindric, and maybe we could have avoided Allmendinger doing whatever the fuck Allmendinger did.
And what could have fallen off the 2 car?
I have no clue, dude. I'm just putting it out there.
No, if you're gonna put it out there, you gotta have an argument. That's not an argument. Did they ever even pick up a piece of debris off the racetrack?
From what? Martin Truex?
No, the 3 cars blowing a tire. Was there debris that they picked up?
There had to have been at least Joey Logano tire carcass on the race.
Other than that, obviously, I'm not talking about that.
I don't know, Seth. I was not in Michigan nor in one of the safety trucks at Michigan or in the tower.
I was wondering if they showed it on TV. Usually when they pick up debris on the racetrack, they show it on the television.
They picked, I mean, if debris, you mean AJ Allmendinger's car, they picked that up. I think they may have showed them picking up the tire carcass or Joey.
Okay. Anyway, we don't think they picked up anything else. I think it just happened to happen that way.
I think it probably just happened to happen. So
either way, we know the reason they threw the caution. And what is that?
Yes.
Overtime.
Presented by Credit One Bank.
And then it almost led to another undeserved William Byron victory. I was sitting there watching in complete belief, like, yep, this was what was going to happen.
Complete belief is funny.
I was like, really? Really? Is William Byron going to get another completely undeserved win?
Yeah.
God. Thank God that didn't happen. Thank God for Tyler Reddick.
You could almost feel it, dude. You could almost feel it. I mean, it all made too much sense. It was like, okay, there's got to be overtime because it's been too long of a green flag run. So who's going to do it? And then how's Tyler Reddick going to lose the race, and how's William Byron going to win the race? Those three things. It was the perfect mixture. It was the three ingredients for definite overtime. Like,
and then the other ingredient on the restart that I'll get into later that I hate caused Tyler Reddick's line to not go as much as William Byron's line, and of course, it almost turned into that. And then luckily, we got the second overtime restart, and Tyler Reddick did get it. Not that I'm a huge Tyler Reddick fan or anything. Definitely preferred that over another fucking William Byron win, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't much to say about that one. That we haven't bitched about on this podcast several times before. It was just really, it's not a caution. It's not a caution.
Yep.
And if that was again, if we could be consistent, if Austin Cindric, if that would have been a caution, it would have been annoying that this would have been a caution for Martin Truex, but at least it would have been consistent. But literally, we have an exact replica of this thing happening in this very race, and you didn't do it. Why? Why do we do this? We know why we do this, but why do we do that for that reason? Why? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck being a actual legitimate sport. Let's just be as dumb as possible all the time.
Yeah. Brock Beard did a great video this week.
Yes.
I believe it's titled "Enough is Enough," basically talking about everything, but mainly the playoff system and what it means and why, it all ties in to, the late race cautions, the yearning for more restarts, and so if you want to watch the video on that, I'm sure you already have. If you've watched us and not that, then I don't really know what you're doing with your life. But while you're here, subscribe. Yeah.
And again, no one will be able to ever explain to me why watching a race end under green, but the guy, they're spread apart. There's no mystery left. No one will ever be able to explain to me how that is so thoroughly much better than the race ending under caution for 2 laps. It's the same outcome.
Yeah.
It's the same outcome. I don't understand it. I can understand it in the sense where if you're building to, a battle at the end of the race, that could be frustrating. I can totally understand that. And even then, I think I swear I saw someone in our comments one time suggest that maybe if the battle for the lead is within a certain amount, you could have it like that, and that would just be a scoring thing, and that would make it an overtime restart and just 1, not fucking 20.
Yeah.
But again, even then, second place, you had all race to get in position for it. That's tough. Yeah. That's too bad. I hate that for you, but that's tough.
Overtime is, I think, if we're going to have one, I think if we're going to have unlimited, have single file restarts, just something to prevent the race from devolving into nothing, because
would have helped last week.
Exactly. And it's so frustrating because we saw at Indy, NASCAR actively was like, we don't want national again. We're going to let this go. And then throw the yellow when we can end the race. And then we go right back to it. So I don't know.
I think we definitely need to make I think we're at the point where we need to make it the official stance that if we can get to the white flag, we do it. I think that needs to be the standard. If we can safely get to the white flag, we should do it. Yeah. Because there's no discernible reason to justify going again and making the race leader who's earned his position do it again, or B, costing guys who don't have enough fuel to run 14 extra fucking laps. It's not like you're just running 3 extra laps, you know, 1 to choose and then 2 to actually do it. You're running like 7 because for some reason we have to run 4 laps before we open pit road and then do 3 more after that and then choose and then go again and then we wreck, and it doesn't make any sense. The only people slower at cleaning up a wreck and getting the race back going than NASCAR is IndyCar. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I just wanted to dig at IndyCar a little because I've been irked by them recently. Anyway, go watch Push to Pass. The video portion, I put 0 effort in, but I was upset and just I just went off a little. So anyway,
it's fair.
Yep.
So anyway,
I'm trying the TikTok method. You know how on TikTok, when you put no effort into it, it does a lot better. And if you put a lot of effort into it, it just doesn't do anything. I'm trying that method.
Okay. I don't know that. You know what? You do, you dude.
That is the way TikTok works.
That is the way yes. So anyway, that caution happens, obviously sets up overtime. There's another wreck that happens where Alex Bowman hits the wall, or else just saying it's turned, yada, yada, yada. You watched the race, y'all saw. And then Tyler Reddick wins.
On the second overtime
restart. Apparently, it requires Corey LaJoie flipping and Michael Jordan showing up for the start, at least the start of the race, for Tyler Reddick to win.
That's kind of funny.
So I don't know what I would like more. Would I like Corey LaJoie to flip again and risk another Tyler Reddick win, or never see Corey LaJoie flip again and Tyler Reddick not win?
I'm okay with another Corey LaJoie flip and this. I'm okay with it. I just want to be there for it. I want it to happen in front of me.
I do not like Tyler Reddick, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of it.
I just wanted to put that out there. Not a fan of Tyler Reddick. He ruined my life at Darlington last year. Still mad about that. We'll continue to be mad about that. My hatred would be the same towards Harrison Burton, but Harrison Burton does not win every time Corey LaJoie flips. So, or just in general.
Would be a funny stat.
Yeah, that would be a wild stat. Anyway, Tyler Reddick, is he not the regular season points leader now?
He is.
Wow. Okay. He's a driver.
Daytona.
He finally got the damn win. He's had 74 second place finishes. And now he's got 2 wins, which sets him apart from a lot of guys in the playoffs. And I don't know. I don't have much to say about Tyler Reddick win.
Good of a shot at making the championship 4 as a lot of guys.
Yeah. Now I will say this. Denny brought up on his podcast this week. He's like, 2311 is the best 2-car organization out there. I mean, that's not. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
That's not a hot take.
No, it's not a hot take. But I think there is something to be said. Yes, they get some support from Joe Gibbs Racing. Well, probably quite a bit, but they are pretty independent. And I think it can't be understated enough how good they are. Like, obviously, Bubba, there's more to be desired there from him. But Tyler Reddick is just fast everywhere we go, every single week. And I think that, I mean, he is what Christopher Bell is in the playoffs. Every week. He's there every week. Bell is not there every week.
Oh, yeah.
Bell shows up in the playoffs, at least from the past 2 weeks. Whereas Reddick, he's there every single week. There's not a race that has gone by this year where I didn't think Tyler Reddick could win this race.
I feel like this was always inevitable from Tyler Reddick.
It was, but there is always the limitation of you are not in a Gibbs car, you are not in a Hendrick car. And at one point in time, a Penske car, but they have fallen by the wayside significantly.
Except in the last 4 races of the season.
Yes. I say that, and their 3 drivers just won, 3 in a row, or 3 out of the last 4, whatever, before.
Yeah, whatever it was. They won a bunch.
So there was at least for me, there was always that wonder. There's always that a little bit of Goliath, David taking on Goliath when it comes to these guys that aren't a Hendrick or a Gibbs car. And when they go out and dominate or can compete for wins every single week like Tyler Reddick does. So, yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think we're going to see that being a tier 1 TRD partner is a huge part of this too. And we're going to see that Legacy Motor Club not being a part of that was a major mistake.
Yeah.
I feel. I mean, I think it already is apparent that it's been a major mistake.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they come crawling back like, we're sorry, we shouldn't have done that. I just don't I don't know why I'm talking about Legacy Motor Club. Actually, I am, because it annoys the shit out of me. Because we got, Jimmy Johnson's a part of that team, and Eric Jones, who's a really good race car driver. And you go to Toyota of all places, and
Matt
you
Kenseth
say Matt Kenseth's a part of it. Yeah. And you just say, no, we're good. We're going to do our own thing. I mean, great if it works out, I guess, but
yeah,
it's not looking good right now. And of course, John Hunter being there doesn't help because he's fucking terrible. But like, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, Eric Jones deserves better than this. To be honest, I was kind of hoping he'd sign somewhere else. Maybe they have a plan that he's interested in there. Maybe there's just no market for him.
It's frustrating because they're worse than they were when they were at Chevy.
Yeah.
The last year.
You compare the end of the year last year to where they're at now, they were faster.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, hopefully they do something. Cause you can't have the team that is represented by the 43 car, Richard Petty, the king of NASCAR. That's his team. He is the face of that team. Jimmy Johnson is the man behind the curtain pulling all the strings for the organization. And you have, like I said, like you said, a really good race car driver in Eric Jones, and then a top Toyota prospect in John Hunter Nemechek. And I say top Toyota prospect because anyway, you guys know.
Not very good.
And you're something just ain't clicking there. Like, now they are beating a tier 1 Chevy team. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Now, I do kind of say in jest, in John Hunter's defense, they did run really well at Indianapolis, but that's pretty much it.
Indy's always been an anomaly.
Sure.
A little bit. And that's, it's true. And I'm also just bringing that up just because I want John Hunter to suck. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's fair.
Not a fan of the family, to say the least. Okay. So
I fucking hate this type of racing.
Oh wow, we're on two different ends of the spectrum here. Okay.
I feel the same I did last year. I fucking hate this. I really hate this. If Atlanta didn't exist in the way it currently is now, I probably would be a little softer on it. Probably wouldn't mind it as bad. But it basically feels like we have a 6.5 fucking plate race to me. Like, I cannot stand this shit. I was sitting there watching, at least yesterday, the battle between the 5 and the 11 go down forever. And they're like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm like, no, nothing's happening. They're close. Nothing's happening. It's stupid. And then all of a sudden you look up and, oh, there goes Bubba Wallace because they got next to each other. Dude, it's so dumb. I'm not a fan of this. How many other ways can I say that I hate this? I don't know. I think you get the gist. I can't fucking stand this. Now tell me I'm wrong. I'm open to it. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong because that's your opinion to have.
That's not a podcast of you, buddy. Fucking
I'm just saying.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm just saying. I've tried to argue with you for 2.5 years on this damn near 3. Hell, coming up on 3 years on this show. I've tried to argue with you about this, and it's just we like different things. I thought it was fine. I admittedly didn't see the battle between the 5 and 11. I was taking a nap.
Well, let me tell you, nothing happened.
Okay. All right. Bubba Wallace was a fucking missile. That's all I guess.
Yeah, but it's like, that's part of the problem, right? Like, they shouldn't get slow. It's not even really a horsepower thing. It's a drag thing. It's just way too much drag on these cars. Like, you see a guy get out in front, and it's like Martin Truex Jr. drove through the field. Dude had a fucking bottle rocket under him, got in the lead, and was like a 2 car lengths ahead of Chase Elliott for like 15 laps. I'm like, really? That's it? And then the aero situation, God, and that's more of a next gen in general thing.
See, I thought this was, I don't know. Tire wear was better today than it had been. And I thought that played a good role in it. I think, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I thought there were points of this race where I was like, I am thoroughly enjoying this. Like, when I guess the run before Kyle Busch got in front of everybody, it was, I mean, they were swapping the lead. They were passing each other. It was, I don't know. It was entertaining to say the least. It's a big racetrack. It's hard to avoid the draft when you have, I mean, I get it. You have a lot of drag. You don't have the horsepower that you need to make it a good race, but I kind of look at it. Would we rather have, it's not out of the here. Okay. So super speedway race to me, it is out of the driver's hands for the most part. It is very much chalked up to luck. There is skill involved in it. There is positioning that you need to put yourself in to survive to the end of the race. To me, this isn't that. Drivers aren't put in a compromising position just because of the pack, a compromising position to where they're going to end up wrecked without it being a direct cause of something they did or over driving or anything like that. Like, Tyler Reddick drove out to a lead at a point at the end of the race.
Did he not have a draft though?
Reddick at the end?
Wasn't he drafting with someone?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
God. Well, no, he was back in the pack because they were on different pit strategies, so he probably was drafting with someone.
No, I mean, he pulled up. At the end? When he was leading?
Yes. Well, he was leading effectively, but he wasn't leading that entire time.
No, I'm talking about the last round when he was leading the race.
Well, yeah, because he'd already broken the draft.
Yeah. He was fast enough. He broke the draft, pulled away.
Because he was in the pack. He didn't have clean air on his nose the entire time and just drive away from guys who had his draft. Because you can't really do that.
The last run. Coming down to the last couple laps of the race.
Yes.
Who was he drafting with?
The guys who hadn't pitted yet. And then by the time
I meant after that.
Yes, but
he drove off.
Yes. When he pit, there were guys that hadn't pitted yet. So he was able to draft off those guys and get a gap.
I get
and then
what
when they pitted.
No.
Yes.
That's not
he literally
not what
did
happened.
that. I saw it.
I don't think that's what happened.
Well, he was like by the time he became
him. Reddick had to pass all those. No, because he had to pass Byron and fucking Elliott.
He didn't have to pass by. He passed them before they got everyone pitted.
No.
Yes.
This was after.
No. I watched it.
I watched it too.
He was in the lead. He became the leader by the time the other guys pitted.
No, Kyle Busch was the leader.
No, he wasn't.
Kyle Busch was the leader, and Kyle Busch,
with 25 to go, Kyle Busch was the leader.
He assumed the lead, did he not? I'm pretty sure he assumed the lead.
I remember them saying, and Tyler Reddick has assumed the lead. Yes.
I don't think that. Okay.
Kyle Busch was not the leader at that point.
Okay. Either way, we'll go back. We'll look at it and figure it out. Either way, like I said, I didn't have much of a problem with it. I felt like there were points in the race where a car was fast enough they could drive away. William Byron drove away from the pack towards the end of the race. Like, and there were the guys who were just evenly matched because it's next gen racing. And yes, that I get it, that were together, but they weren't stuck. They could pass each other. They could
I'm not saying they couldn't pass each other.
I'm just saying for me, I'm just saying these are things that I chalked up as positives for myself as far as this package. I'm not trying to necessarily refute anything any argument that you're making. I like I said, I didn't have a problem with it. It wasn't the Xfinity package, and it was enough. It was enough in the driver's hands to where I felt like if a guy had a fast enough car, they could do what they needed to do to go and win the race. They could make the moves based on driver ability. And, okay, they couldn't pull away, but if Reddick had the fastest car, he wasn't getting past. Like, if you were faster, like, it was hard to pass because they were the fastest car. He might not have gotten away as much as, he would if it wasn't this package, but it's, I don't know.
I see your point. And I don't think you're wrong or anything. I'll just I will never see intrinsically more value in this kind of race than one where they're entering the corner at 2:17 or whatever. I will never intrinsically think that that's better just because it's closer.
I mean, I wish they were. If I would rather them be at 2:17 into the corner, but I don't love it so much. I don't want that so much that I'm willing to call this a bad race. It's Michigan. It's an anomaly. It's not something. It's not. We don't see it at Charlotte. We don't see it at. We didn't see it at California. It's not something we see every week. It is. I'm fine.
This is what we would have if we just repaved California. This is what we would have seen. I do think.
I don't know, because California is a little bit different as far as the banking goes and everything like that. I don't think
true, but that's what happened in the IndyCar, and I feel like
that's fair.
It would have been similar.
Yeah. But I don't do that. People love the IndyCar race in California.
It was an all-timer. But why was that an all-timer?
I don't know. I don't remember the race at all.
Because it was an anomaly. But the way you called an anomaly, to me, it doesn't feel like an anomaly because we do similar things to this very often. The restart, again, you know me. I fucking hate next-gen restarts. I can't stand them.
I agree with the restarts. But, again,
if the back half of the field doesn't crash, if the back half of the field doesn't crash at the end of that race because we threw a bullshit caution for Martin Truex Jr., Tyler Reddick was going to lose the race to a completely undeserving William Byron who sucks and I hate.
Yeah. Because
he didn't get a push.
Well, that goes beyond next gen. That was a thing before.
Sure, but we've exacerbated the issues with next gen. We refuse to actually make the car, fix the car's ability to cool in the driver compartment. So we have these big fucking holes in the windshield causing so much drag. And you can literally see it as soon as you get out in front. It's like, clear and obvious. So, I think this is the intention. If I didn't think that this was the intention and they liked what they saw, then I wouldn't be as up in arms about it. If it was just like a thing that happened, kind of like Bristol, or not like Bristol, but say we designed, never mind, that's not the right way to do it. But the point of that was
that's how I felt about Bristol.
Yeah, the point of that was it wasn't the intention, and it's just kind of what happened. So I'm more hang on, let's wait and see how this goes kind of thing with that than I am with, okay, this has been 3 years. We haven't done anything to this. This is clearly a problem, but it's clearly not a problem to you guys. And I don't agree with that.
I'll put it like this. If this was something that happened at every other racetrack, it'd be dumb. But it's Michigan. It's a big, fast racetrack, and these are cars that obviously have a lot of drag. But in general, just you're gonna draft at Michigan. Like it's gonna happen. Like it didn't happen in other cars. But would you rather? Well, yes, you would rather have them go 215 in the corner. Yes, 300. Oh my God. But I don't know. As far as like an entertainment value versus legitimacy, I feel like this is an okay balance for me. But
It
yeah,
is. And like I said, if we didn't have 6 super speedway races already, I would probably feel better about it.
yeah,
I don't know. I just I think part of it too, it's like with the way we saw like the guys who did spin out running for position in this race, the Hamlin incident, the Larson incident, I guess the Truex incident, it's not exactly the same.
yeah.
But it's like you're full lock, you're full, pedal to the metal, and it just goes. And you can't really do anything about it in the next gen car. Like obviously Truex and Hamlin were relatively unscathed. Larson, unfortunately, it was right after a restart. It's just kind of the way it is. I just don't. I don't know. We just completely. We completely designed the next gen car badly.
I mean, yes,
It's terrible. I don't know. I'm glad that I've been beating this drum basically since the last half of 22. So I feel like a hipster. I was first to this one. Maybe I wasn't first to it, but we need a new car so bad.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. We need new elements at least to this car. I think. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with the window thing. That's something that was not intended to be designed in the car and it is in the car and it has a significant effect. Yeah, I mean, I would like the cars to have more horsepower. I've
basically given up on that one.
Yeah.
Well, because also we've seen the ways to mitigate the lack of horsepower.
Yes.
And they still won't do that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think this is also a temporary thing with the next gen car in Michigan. I think the more the track wears, the more they bring a tire that wears, the less of this we're going to see. And
I'm wondering how aggressive Goodyear will even be willing to go at a track like Michigan because it's just so fast. Even now, like what are they averaging around the racetrack? 185?
I think it was quicker than that.
Was it?
With what we saw today, like the wear we saw today, I think the winners at Michigan will, because we've seen before, it takes a long time for these tracks to start wearing, but once they start wearing, they wear at a more rapid pace. So, I think that combined with
when did Michigan get repaid?
2012. Yeah.
Charlotte got repaid in 05.
06.
And it started 06. It started to finally look good in 2022. So we're not that far away.
Yeah. I mean, we're not. I think I don't know. This, like, it's just two people that like to let us know down in the comments. What do you guys? Did you guys like the race? Do you think it's grading like Seth does? Like, what are you guys?
Do you miss the sound of Jeff Gordon ripping the air open as he drives by?
I'm a little bit pissed off about. Here's why I'm pissed off. Because this is about the second or third time I've seen a clip of Jeff Gordon from 2014 in a qualifying lap where Kevin Harvick was the one who won the fucking pole for the race, but yet we are so fixated on Jeff Gordon.
I'm 99% sure Jeff Gordon won the pole for that race.
For Michigan? Okay. Yeah. They did it at Indy too, and I know Harvick won the pole for the Brickyard in 2014. And there was another race where Harvick definitely won the pole. And they're fixated on Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, I don't know, but Jeff definitely won the pole for that one because I'm pretty sure that's the track record.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can't comment to Indy or whatever the other one was, but definitely Michigan. Jeff won that one for sure.
Either way, there we go. We've seen high horsepower, high downforce. It works. Let's do it.
I mean, not that race was like an all-time classic or anything. The amount of time, see, the problem is you make this argument and people are like, But like there was a boring race there one time, and I'm like, shucks, that's fucking auto racing for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone thinks that every race needs to be insane, and clearly NASCAR thinks it too. Again, it's a product of highlight culture in at least America, because I mean, you look at what sports are popular overseas. Formula One's really popular, boring as fuck. Soccer, pretty boring. Most popular sport in the world. I know nothing about cricket, so I'm not gonna comment. But like, I mean, those top two at least, it's like there's not and super exciting thing happening every single second, and every game or race or whatever doesn't end in, an absolute slugfest. But they're the most popular things in the world, the most popular sticker ball sport ever, and the most popular motorsport in the world. Again, I don't understand why we can't see this. And I don't think we need to be Formula One, but there's definitely things that Formula One does that we could take into account. Like, you don't have to make every race the A main feature of a World of Outlaws race. The reason that happens is something you can't replicate on a NASCAR Cup Series circuit on a weekly basis. Unless you throw bullshit cautions for guys getting loose off of turn 4 every week with 5 laps to go. I guess if you're going to do that and completely negate the credibility of your series, sure, you can do that. I guess you can do that.
Yeah. Or they have much for you there. Yeah.
Believe it or not, I do love this series. It doesn't show very often, but I do. And that's why I get so fucking mad about it.
The more I think about it, the more. Yeah, no, I'm cool with this Michigan thing.
Okay.
I think that's all we had, right?
Yep.
Okay. Sundress, dumbass.
I got nothing for Sundress. Be completely honest.
Sundress.
Oh, never mind. Corey Lajoie for doing the funniest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we do on the show every week, we're gonna kick all the babies and jump across every table and clear the board to gather the low-hanging fruit. Shane Van Gisbergen gained 11 spots in 2 laps in the end of the Xfinity race, so I'm going with Shane Van Gisbergen.
All right, my dumbass is...
fuck it. We're going even more on brand. I'm also going to give it to Daniel Suarez. 3 straight top 10 finishes. Finally seems like him and Matt Swiderski are getting some traction together, and they're putting together some decent runs.
All right. You thought that was on brand. My dumbass is NASCAR's officiating team for calling a caution for the 19 car getting loose off of turn 4.
Yeah.
You talk about on fucking brand, baby. That's on brand.
Yeah. Also, I have another sundress.
Is this on brand?
At it? Very. Sundress is me because I think I had a hand in Corey Lajoie flipping. If you guys recall a couple weeks ago, Corey Lajoie
like the fucking Obama meme where he's giving himself a medal.
That's right. Where if you guys recall a couple weeks ago in Iowa, Corey Lajoie ran an Iowa Hawkeyes car. It pissed me off because I'm an Iowa Hawkeyes fan.
Despite never having been to Iowa.
I never have been to Iowa. I like a lot of things from Iowa, just never been to Iowa. Knoxville National was awesome. Iowa Speedway, respectable racetrack. Slipknot, one of my favorite bands. Iowa basketball, yes. I was using my Iowa Hawkeyes koozie. I literally like a minute before I'd gotten up to grab another drink, put it in my koozie, sat down, they go to commercial. I look at my phone, I look up, and Corey Lajoie's flipping. And I looked at my koozie, I go, fly like a Hawkeye. So as far as dumbass, I'm gonna go with Corey Lajoie.
There's no explanation needed. We all get it.
I mean, dude. I mean, you could have You could have just wrecked on the ground. You didn't have to do all that.
Yeah, he needed to get some flying hours. God knows he's going to need a new career.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. Oh, I want to give a shout out. My buddy Pierre, he used to come into my old job, and we had no clue like NASCAR. He came in wearing a Martin Truex hat the other day, and we discovered that we both love NASCAR. And I just wanted to give him a shout out because he listened to the show last week, and since he's going to listen this week, so I appreciate you, man.
I'd like to give one more shout out for Sundress. I'm going to give a Sundress shout out to Buddy Pulley for finally quitting his shitty, abusive job with the worst GM ever. So everyone give a round of applause to Buddy for that one. Just wanted to say so.
I did quit my job. I'm not going to say what it was, but I did quit it, and it feels really good.
It might rhyme with abominable hose. It doesn't really rhyme with that at all. I don't know what made me say that. Abominable hose.
Is that like a euphemism for like? Never mind.
I did not put any more thought into it. I have no idea.
Okay. Picks for where are we going? Daytona.
Dayton?
Hey, Shane Hickenberg gets back.
The Dayton 400.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The Daytona 500.
Who are you picking for Daytona? Did Chuck put in a pick?
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. Who did he pick?
Brad. Fuck.
That's a good pick. I picked Brad for the 500. So, where did I finish? Who? I don't even know. I know Chuck won. Obviously,
no, I had Joey Logano.
Busher and he wrecked.
No, Busher finished 6th.
Oh, he did.
Who did Chuck pick?
Hit Ty Gibbs.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think he finished like
3rd. Yeah, 3rd or 4th. So okay.
So anyway, I get to go next. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Corey Lajoie.
Wow. You know, I could have everybody cleared off the board, and I just take a bye week, honestly. Before
I'll be honest, I'm at this point where everyone I picked is red.
Fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Because this shit resets when we get into the playoffs. Keep picking Shane fucking Van Gisbergen for Daytona.
That's fair. I'm at the point where I
Corey LaJoy. Maybe Brad will wreck.
Brad's probably gonna wreck. That's pretty much what happens. Well, except last year where he finished 2nd. But no, I'm kind of at the point now where everyone I pick has wrecked. So like, best case scenario, Corey LaJoy has the race of his life, and I get 5 points, and I hate myself for it. Or other best case scenario is Corey LaJoy wrecks again.
Wait, hang on. Didn't we have a pact to where Chuck would pick Corey LaJoy at Daytona?
Yeah, we did.
We had a group chat pact.
Hang on, I gotta call Chuck and remind him of this pact.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
Or I guess we can call him in the group chat. Wait, no, we added a guy to the group chat.
Yeah,
and that guy's Anthony, of course.
Yes.
Anthony, damn caught. Charles Fossum. Please pick up Chuck.
Yeah, please. Yeah, fat chance he picks up.
Hello.
Hey, Chase. So you're on the Big Motor Small Blade podcast real quick.
Who the fuck is Chase?
Oh, I'm sorry, Charles. Anyway, Buddy reminded us of a pact where you have to pick Corey LaJoy to test the theory that Corey LaJoy could win a race.
I was hoping that this would not be remembered. Oh my god. First of all, hey guys, sorry I've been absent from the show for a while. Chuck's busy with a lot of things in life.
Quote unquote busy. Chuck listened to his very first Big Motor Small Blade podcast last week. Wow.
All right, Chuck. So you got to do it.
We're really doing.
Yeah.
I saved Brad for this race too.
Well, then you get to pick Brad at Darlington, and he literally won Darlington this year.
Why would I pick Brad at Darlington?
Oh yeah.
Who else I have left?
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Oh,
yelled in my fucking ear.
Oh, that's audio.
Shut up, Abby.
How fast was she going? How fast was Abby going when she got that speeding ticket?
I can rhyme because I have to take Corey LaJoie at Daytona.
There it is.
He got
Signed,
his flip
sealed,
out
and
of the way
delivered.
this week, so
His second flip, you mean?
got his second flip out of the way this week. So hopefully he doesn't do any Ryan Priest impersonations down the backstretch of Daytona.
If he does, we got to throw our hats because that's a hat trick.
This is true. So, dude, if I win this week, I really do have a golden horseshoe. And just to clarify the accusations that were made about me last week, yes, I have a golden horseshoe, and yes, it made it through TSA. And no, I'm not telling you guys how, because it made it through TSA 2 weeks in a row.
Ask him how fast Abby was going
I'm
when
sure
she
you
got her
guys had
speeding
fun.
ticket.
Oh,
Talking about,
Buddy wants to know how fast Abby was going when she got her speeding ticket.
I mean, how fast she going when you got your speeding ticket? 62 and a 45.
That's rookie numbers.
62 and a 45, she said.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
That's rookie
It
numbers.
was 62 and a 55.
What?
Don't even.
That's up for debate. I mean, my ticket says 60 and a 45.
That's what my ticket says.
I was actually.
This is a hang up
All
on
right,
them.
anyway,
We're
never
done.
mind. All right, so thanks for coming on the show, Chuck. We'll hopefully get you next week when you're less busy, and you tell Abby that you're busy on Monday in the evenings, and we'll talk to you then.
See, he said.
Just kidding. I don't give a fuck.
All right. So who are you now picking, Seth?
I don't know. I hadn't prepared for this. Who did you pick?
I picked Shane Van Gisbergen.
Oh, yeah.
And
Wait, do
this
I have-
actually works out really well because maybe this gives me a better, because I felt like Brad was going to have a good run. Well, Justin Haley. Have you picked him yet?
I have to pick Justin Haley. Wait, is he running this week?
Who? I mean, I've solidified my pick.
Cody
Like,
Ware.
They did post the entry list. Let me check.
He has a top 10 at Daytona.
Weren't we there?
Yes.
That's
If he's on the
incredible.
entry list, I'm picking him.
Cody Ware.
Yes, we're doing it.
All right. That's
been the show.
I was about to say, yeah. It's been the show.
I've been Seth. He's been Buddy. That was Charles and Abby, which was my favorite YouTube channel for a little bit, and then they just stopped for some reason.
Yeah.
And by favorite, I mean I laughed my ass off. # quack fuck.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had fun, I guess. Be
Yes,
sure to tune in next week for this show. Be sure to tune
Make
in.
sure you watch Push to Pass this week. On Tour will be back this week. Rundown from Down Under. All the things. So
Very loud vehicle outside my house.
yes, Rundown from Down Under. We're working on something there. And yeah, we'll see you guys after Daytona. Go fuck yourselves.